When most people talk about the greatest dunkers in basketball history, names like Vince Carter, LeBron James, or Michael Jordan come to mind. But very few ever think of Spud Webb, even though what he did was almost impossible. Standing just 5 feet 7 inches tall, Spud defied gravity and expectations, becoming a dunking icon in a league built for giants. It all started in Dallas, Texas, where a high school junior named Anthony Jerome Webb, nicknamed Spud because his head reminded his parents of the Sputnik satellite, was just 4'11". He had talent, but coaches didn't even let him on the junior varsity team. That all changed when 2 players failed their physicals. Spud was finally given his shot. The moment he stepped on the court, everything changed. He wasn't just good, he was electric. That season, Spud proved he belonged, and then something even more shocking happened. He grew. Over the summer, he shot up to 5'4". More importantly, his vertical exploded. Spud could now leap over 40 inches, nearly 2/3 of his height. That allowed him to do something few had ever seen before: dunk the ball with ease. By his senior year, Spud wasn't just dunking, he was dominating. He averaged 26 points per game and turned his high school team into a local powerhouse. Crowds packed the gym just to see this tiny player take off and fly over defenders. In the stands one night was Jerry Stone, head coach at Midland College, a junior college in West Texas. Stone saw something special and offered Spud a full scholarship. People laughed. A 5 feet 4 inches point guard leading a college team? But Spud didn't care. He accepted the challenge. And then he made history. In his first season at Midland, Spud averaged 21 points, 7 assists, threw down 40 dunks, and even blocked 18 shots. Yes, blocked shots at 5'6". In the national championship game, he led Midland to victory, dropped 36 points, and won the finals MVP. Spud had gone from being overlooked to owning the biggest stage in junior college basketball. But he wasn't done yet. He had one more season to prove he was Division I material. And he delivered again, bumping his assist average to nearly 11 per game. That was enough for a D1 program to come calling. Or so it seemed. Spud accepted an offer from North Texas, but before he could enroll, the coach who recruited him was fired. His scholarship disappeared. Just like that, Spud's dream was ripped away. He started working for his father, thinking basketball was over. But fate wasn't done with him. A single pickup game in Dallas would change everything. Spud Webb thought his basketball journey had ended. The scholarship he worked so hard for was gone. The coach who believed in him had been fired, and the dream of playing Division I was slipping away. He started working at his father's job in Dallas, but deep down, he couldn't let go of the game. Then one night, everything changed. During a casual pickup game at the Martin Luther King Recreation Center, Spud was flying up and down the court like he was born to be there. Watching from the sideline was Tom Abadamarco, the assistant coach at North Carolina State, the defending national champions. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. A 5 feet 7 inches guard who moved like lightning, could dunk in traffic and outplay guys nearly a foot taller? He knew he had to act fast. He called head coach Jim Valvano and urged him to fly to Dallas and meet Spud immediately. But when Valvano saw the tiny guard at the airport, he didn't believe it. He literally said, "You're fired," thinking it was a joke. But after spending time with Spud and seeing him in action on the court, Valvano changed his mind fast. He offered Spud a full scholarship to play at NC State. Spud had finally made it to the big leagues, Division I basketball. But now the pressure was on. Could he compete against the best college players in the country? That question didn't take long to answer. In his junior season at NC State, Spud showed that height had nothing to do with dominance. His speed was unmatched. His vertical leap stunned teammates and terrified opponents. Every time he attacked the rim, defenders hesitated. They didn't want to be the guy getting dunked on by someone a full foot shorter. He started 31 of the team's 33 games, averaging nearly 10 points, 2 steals, and leading the entire ACC in assists with 6 per game. Yes, the shortest guy in the conference was its best playmaker. But the team wasn't the same without the stars who had led them to a national title the year before. NC State missed the tournament. For Spud, it was a personal victory, but not the kind he wanted most. That made his senior year all the more important. And from the first tip-off, Spud took over. In one of the season's most intense games against Rutgers, Spud cooled down an 11-3 run with clutch free throws and a powerful fast break dunk that sent the crowd into chaos. The 5 feet 7 inches guard was doing more than just holding his own. He was controlling the game. By the end of the season, Spud was averaging 11 points, 5 assists, and 2 steals. More importantly, he had led NC State back to the NCAA tournament. And he was just getting started. In the first round, they beat Nevada. In the second, Spud scored 29 points and threw down a fast break slam to bury UTEP. In the Sweet 16, he helped take down Alabama. Now just one win away from the Final Four, Spud and NC State faced their toughest challenge yet, a loaded St. John's team featuring future NBA stars like Chris Mullin and Mark Jackson. Spud barely rested, playing almost the entire game, pushing the pace, scoring over taller defenders, and finding teammates for open buckets. But even with all that effort, it wasn't enough. NC State fell short. Spud was heartbroken. He wanted to repay the coaches who believed in him with a championship. Still, what he had done couldn't be ignored. Just 4 years earlier, he had barely made his high school JV team. Now, he was one of the best point guards in college basketball, and his eyes were on the NBA. The only question left was, would any team believe in a 5 feet 7 inches player? The 1985 NBA draft was packed with giants. Patrick Ewing, the towering 7-footer from Georgetown, went first overall. Teams were chasing size, length, power, everything Spud Webb wasn't. So, he waited. 1 round passed. Then 2. Then 3. Finally, in the 4th round, with the 87th overall pick, the Detroit Pistons took a chance on him. But that chance didn't last long. Detroit already had top-tier guards, and they didn't see a place for a 5 feet 7 inches rookie. Before the season even started, Spud was waived. Cut before he could prove himself. Still, this wasn't new to Spud. He'd been doubted every step of the way. And every time, he'd answered with results. He joined the United States Basketball League, a brand new minor league, and signed with the Rhode Island Gulls. That team also happened to have 7 feet 7 inches Manu Ginobili, the tallest player in professional basketball. Together, the two made for the most unlikely duo, the tallest and shortest teammates in league history. And Spud dominated. His speed was untouchable. His passing was precise. His hops were still out of this world. It became obvious. This guy didn't belong in the minors. He was NBA ready. The Pistons didn't want him back. But someone else was watching. Mike Fratello, the head coach of the Atlanta Hawks and a former 5 feet 7 inches guard himself, brought Spud in for a tryout. The next day, Spud suited up for a preseason game. Fratello's instructions were simple. Don't worry about the plays. Just go as fast as you can from one end to the other. Score or create something. Spud did exactly that. He lit up the floor with his speed and vision and even dropped 9 steals in an exhibition game. Hawks superstar Dominique Wilkins, a human highlight reel himself, told the team to keep him. He saw something special. On October 23, 1985, Spud Webb officially signed with the Atlanta Hawks. Just weeks later, with Doc Rivers injured, Spud started the Hawks' season opener. He recorded a double-double, 12 points and 10 assists, and even threw down a dunk in his debut game, becoming the shortest player in NBA history to do it. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. Night after night, Spud torched defenders. Off the bench, he averaged nearly 6 points and 3 assists in just 12 minutes a game. He was fast, crafty, fearless, and yes, still dunking on people. He even crossed up Isaiah Thomas and scored on future Hall of Famers. He wasn't just surviving. He was thriving. Then came the invitation that changed everything, the 1986 NBA Slam Dunk Contest. Spud accepted. The event was in his hometown, and he couldn't say no. But nobody expected him to win. The other contestants were nearly a foot taller. Even his own teammate, Dominique Wilkins, the defending champ, admitted he didn't think Spud had a shot. But that only fueled the fire. When it was his turn, Spud launched into the air and pulled off a double pump reverse that made jaws drop. He was so close to the rim that the ball bounced off his forehead. The crowd went wild. He earned a perfect 50. And he wasn't done. In the final round, it was him versus Dominique. Wilkins dunked a ferocious 360 windmill. Spud answered with a 360 of his own, one-handed and explosive, earning another perfect score. Then, he pulled out the unthinkable, a self-alley-oop off the floor and backboard into a clean slam. Another 50. When Wilkins' final dunk scored a 48, it was official. Spud Webb, the shortest contestant in NBA history, had just won the 1986 Slam Dunk Contest. He wasn't just a gimmick. He wasn't just a short guy who could jump. He was a star. And the best was still to come. Spud Webb was no longer just the underdog. After winning the 1986 Slam Dunk Contest, he became a national sensation, a 5 feet 7 inches point guard who didn't just belong in the NBA, he electrified it. With Doc Rivers still injured, Spud was back in the Hawks' starting lineup, and he took full advantage. Against the Lakers, he dropped 23 points, 13 assists, and 3 steals in a dominant win. 2 nights later, he followed it up with 23 points and 15 assists against the Cavaliers. He wasn't just throwing flashy dunks, he was leading Atlanta to wins. In March, Spud recorded his 9th double-digit assist game of the season and threw down 2 in-game dunks against the Dallas Mavericks. The Hawks ended the year with 50 wins, and Spud, the guy who no one believed would make it, was headed to the NBA playoffs. His first-round opponent? The Detroit Pistons. The same team that had cut him just months earlier. In Game 1, Spud made them pay. He scored 18 points and dished out 5 assists in just 17 minutes off the bench. But Game 2 would be even better. Spud shattered the Hawks' single-game playoff assist record with 18, along with 19 points in another double-double performance. He was outplaying the starters. He was outplaying expectations. He was outplaying his past. Atlanta moved on to face the Boston Celtics, the defending Eastern Conference champs. It was a brutal matchup. The Hawks dropped the first 3 games and were facing elimination. Then in Game 4, Spud exploded again. 21 points, 13 assists, 6 rebounds, and a much-needed win. It was a classic Spud performance. But 2 nights later, Larry Bird and the Celtics were too much. Atlanta was eliminated. Still, Spud had proven once again that he was a true NBA point guard, not just a dunker. As the seasons continued, so did the ups and downs. Injuries slowed him down. Minutes were cut. Trust from his coach, Mike Fratello, began to fade. In 1989, Spud only averaged 1.6 points per game in the playoffs. Even though he made another dunk contest appearance, it was clear his role in Atlanta was shrinking. Then came Christmas Day, 1989. Doc Rivers was injured again, and Spud was thrust back into the spotlight. He responded with 26 points, 12 assists, and 6 rebounds, a vintage performance. Over the 37 games Rivers missed, Spud averaged nearly 11 points, 7 assists, and 1.2 steals. He'd saved the season. But the Hawks missed the playoffs, and Fratello was fired. The new coach, Bob Weiss, saw Spud differently. In 1990-91, Spud became Atlanta's full-time starting point guard. Playing nearly 30 minutes per game, he had career highs, scoring 30 against the Bulls, 32 against the Nuggets, and delivering multiple 10-plus assist games. He even had a monster 24-point, 14-assist night against Seattle. Atlanta made the playoffs, and Spud got another shot at Detroit. Over 5 games, he averaged 13.2 points, 4.8 assists, and 1.4 steals, proving once again that he could step up in the biggest moments. But the Hawks had other plans. Before the next season, they traded Spud to the Sacramento Kings. He was devastated. He never got to repay the franchise that believed in him. Still, in Sacramento, he was finally a permanent starter. No more competing for minutes, no more doubters in the locker room. And he delivered. In his first game for the Kings, he dropped 27 points, 8 assists, and 6 rebounds. In 1991-92, he averaged a career-best 16 points, 7.1 assists, and 1.6 steals. He had 21 games with 20 or more points and 17 double-digit assist games. The only problem? Sacramento was terrible. Coaching changes, blowout losses, and no playoff hopes. Spud did everything, but he couldn't carry an entire franchise alone. He kept trying. The next year, he scored a career-high 34 points against Golden State. In 1994, he had multiple 32-point games. But the Kings were stuck at the bottom of the standings. And by 1995, his body started to slow down. The speed, the bounce, it just wasn't the same. The Kings traded him. Spud returned to Atlanta. But it wasn't like before. At 32, the spark that made him unstoppable was fading. He bounced to Minnesota for a short stint, then went overseas to Italy. Finally, in 1998, the Orlando Magic, who had once tried to trade for him, gave him a 10-day contract. It was his final run. After 12 years, the shortest dunk champion in NBA history hung up his sneakers. But Spud's story didn't end there. In 2006, 20 years after his own dunk contest win, he coached 5 feet 9 inches Nate Robinson to victory in the same event, making Nate just the second player under 6 feet to ever win. The first, Spud. Today, he serves as the president of the Texas Legends, the G League affiliate of the Dallas Mavericks, still involved, still inspiring. Even at age 47, Spud was caught on video throwing down a dunk for fun. Spud Webb didn't just break the rules of basketball height expectations. He rewrote them. He showed the world that heart, hustle, and belief could take you higher than height ever could. And he proved once and for all that no dream is too big, not even for a 5 feet 7 inches dunk champion.